Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace, and I've mentioned so many times I use, this online to vent, and I've also mentioned, I don't know how many times, that I don't tell the whole story, and it sometimes feels like lying through omission, and basically it's the whole thing of protecting the innocent. Me, I'm saying it truthfully, me. I am the innocent and person in this, but also protecting those who are guilty. Don't air your dirty laundry kind of thing. Downplay stuff. So much of downplaying. And if I say, hey, that's really bad, you shouldn't do that behavior, it's, you just exaggerate things. It's never the truth. So let me give an example, which I do not know much about. This is just an example. Maybe more people can understand. Say you have a peanut allergy. I do not know anything about peanut allergies, so don't take anything I say as if I do, because I don't. Period. All I know is people have peanut allergies. Okay, especially kids. I don't know if that's especially true. Is it just kids? Okay. No, it's serious. Okay, I'll try to keep from my little nervous laughter thing. But say you have I keep saying chemical allergies because I have chemical allergies. But peanut allergies. And you and your family members, your extended family members, including your in-laws and all this stuff, on a regular basis have, like I was watching Desperate Housewives, and they have like dinners with one another, or whatever it is, or family get-togethers, however it is, and there's somebody who's going to always cook something, make something, bake something, whatever something to eat that has peanuts in it. Is that how it works? Okay, I would think so. I don't know. See, can't do it. But anyway, so, and then they mix it with, they put it, somewhere on the table, you're like having like a potluck or whatever. And they just put it there. Nobody knows who made it. Something different every time. So you basically can't eat anything. Okay, because you've experienced it before, and you know that you basically can't eat anything in any of these, so why even bother going, you kind of have that attitude, but you have to go for whatever reason. But they're ensuring that you are really not part of it, and they can kind of, in their twisted minds, say it's your fault. It's not your fault. But they twist things to... Okay, I had to cut some of that out. I had to cut it out. I don't put other people's children in my videos. So, anyway, I think I don't know which part I stopped at, but I was saying, how would you see it? If every time you went to this family or this neighborhood get-together or whatever it was where it was basically a potluck or whatever, people brought something, and you never knew what would have that peanut allergy, because some of them felt like they didn't have to, bother with that, even though they know that it could literally kill you. I mean, how would you see it other than, there's so many different parts to it that you could see in different ways. But overall, wouldn't you say, isn't that, if you want to get to the extreme, because what they're doing is at an extreme. Okay, what they are doing, point the finger at the correct people, people who are not caring if they kill you, let's go as far as in the way you look at it, as that's attempted murder. Think about it. But say that you do. Say you mention, this is what it is. And all the people say, oh, you're being overly dramatic, when it's them who's being dramatic and downright I mean, you can say so much. I don't need to tell anybody. You can say so much. They don't care if you live or die. Really? I mean, what other way are you going to see it? Maybe you even do the thing of making it sound, you don't say that to anybody. And nobody else sees it that way. So nobody else is saying it that way. Whoa. You know you could kill this person and you're still doing it anyway? Nobody's mentioning that. And you've in your lifetime, you felt this before, that various people being the scapegoat, say in your dysfunctional family, where they didn't care if somebody killed you. You develop this sense of, maybe, possibly, of nobody really cares about me. Nobody really does care if I live or die. They say it's okay. Basically, they don't point out, hey, that's bad behavior. Whoever it is no longer invited. Have the police come over. Have a team say, hey, look, this is what they're doing. I don't know. I don't know anything about chemical. See, I keep saying chemical. I don't know anything about peanut allergies, like I keep saying. How it would work. How would somebody, what would they test for if somebody is actually going to that extreme? How would law enforcement see that? If somebody actually is going to that extreme because they want to have their way and they're stomping their feet like a little, child, or maybe they have a real direct purpose. Who knows? Their purpose is bye-bye. I don't care about you. You cause too much problems. There are people out there who think like this. Trust me on that. We don't really need you. You're so much trouble, because you dare to tell us we can't do what we want to do. Really, this is our lives. We're going to do what we want to do. We don't care what happens to you. Trust me. There are people out there who say things like that. And they really think that way. Trust me. I was losing my voice. But, yeah. Trust me on it. There are so people who, see, in my world and the way I don't diagnose anybody. I did study, psychology, sociology back in the day. Over 20 years, taught college and university. I can teach both. Depends on the college or university. I can teach both, and no, it's not as an MA. No, it's using my degrees. And I could do all that, but I'm not going to diagnose. But in my world, in my mind, in my mind, I would see, it depends, but overall, I see them as sociopaths. Some of them psychopaths. Psychopaths to me, they have a focus, a person at that time. It could be, I could be wrong on this. Some classify them under antisocial. These, I don't know how many years now. It wasn't when I was young. And sociopaths, some say psychopath 1 or A, and psychopath 2 or B, whatever. Whatever. But in my mind, I would say the ones who are just focused on the one person is a psychopath. The person who they don't care who gets, they're going to do what they want to do, and they don't care if it hurts anybody else. They don't care who. It's collateral damage, I think you would call it. That's a sociopath to me. Okay? That's how I see them. And I was taught, I've mentioned all that before, in the past, the way I was taught, and that goes back into the 1980s. So as far back into the 1980s. And, but this kind of thing, I mean, like I was talking about earlier, is when the victim kind of downplays it too. Because the victim knows that nobody seems like to side with them. I've had that experience before, that something was done wrong to me. It was when I was in school, grade school. I don't even remember what it was. But something had happened to me, and it was one of those things that these days kids would be expelled forever, kind of things. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember it was really bad. And that back then they didn't have that whole thing of no tolerance for bullying, that kind of thing. And it was very different. Every time you turn around, somebody was being picked on about something. It was just like you go to school knowing that somebody will. It might not be you, but somebody will be picked on. And but it was really bad. I remember feeling it was really bad, and nobody was saying, "Hey, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't," whatever it was. You know, that whole feeling of you're all by yourself, even though you know that this is wrong. But you're all alone. Nobody really cares. And that's the whole thing. Nobody really cares. It would be inconvenient for them to care. Like when you're in high school, some people think it's all about, you can't be a snitch, or you can't this, when they could be really doing a lot of harm to somebody. That kind of thing. And but the person might not necessarily. It's really not a one size fits all in, I'd say, any of this that I've mentioned. Like I said, I don't know anything about Kim. See, I'm doing it again. Oh my goodness, about peanut allergies. So anyway, but that whole feeling I have felt before. I remember then, and now more I think about it, I felt that more than one time in my life. When it's kind of like, how did I put it? Maybe I was in my 40s or something. Disposable people. Yeah, that some people think that some other people are so insignificant that they're just disposable people or something like that. I don't remember, it was a long time ago. So, I'm 61. But boy, that car just zoomed past me. And it's kind of like that. I could say that. People who fly down the road and they almost hit you, or they don't care. It doesn't matter to them, and nobody else matters to them. This type, and then, all that matters to them is how things are for them. And some would say they might not even care about that either. Like I said, this is not a one size fits all in any of this. But anyway, the reason why it's on my mind is because how many days ago was it? 3 days ago, I think. It happened to me again. Did not care about me. Did not care if they literally offed me. Okay? That person. Did not care. What was more important is that person got their way. I'm not saying there as in a different pronoun, but saying there as it was in my generation, to say there when you don't want to say he or she, or he and she, or a bunch of people, a group of people, or more than one person. Okay, I'm not using it as a pronoun in that other sense. But this generation sense, a lot. I know a lot of words. I say that because I've heard a lot of people, this is a little intermission or something. But people who make that comment to your old school, that people around my age, they're old school, or they don't know the language these days, and they're old school. That's basically one they use. They don't know enough. Well, do you know mine? We'll leave it at that. It's okay. Can't expect us to know yours if you don't know ours. Got that? So, and it could be any age, by the way. So, anyway. Now, when I say you, of course, I don't mean you. It's just a way I speak. And I'm never going to get out of that habit. I can see that. But anyway, a little bit of a headache. My blood pressure had finally kind of leveled, gotten to a good spot, real nice spot, consistent spot, not real high, not low enough, but not real high. And then this happened 3 days ago. It sounds so dramatic. Well, guess what? It is dramatic. It is dramatic to be on the side. The victim, the innocent victim, did nothing, absolutely nothing, to cause any of this, ever, never. It is that dramatic. I will try to say it, and I sound stupid when I do. I'm well aware of it. Try to be dramatic enough to express it in such a strong way that they behave. That's why I say these people often, I say, you know, when I'm nice, being nice, I say they have narcissistic histrionic blend of behaviors. But when I'm being real, their behaviors, in my view, like I said, I don't diagnose, it's more of that a psychopath or sociopath. They are that bad. I remember, you know, now that I think about it, I know I crossed over to here, to this one. I don't know how many years ago it was that I said that I not only put the video up really briefly and said that I had been dealing with a psychopath, okay, and I meant it. And I think I took it off and I never put it back up. You know, my channel that I do about people who have narcissistic. I don't really put everything under narcissism, as so many people do. Narcissism is, they don't care about anybody. To me, they're too busy thinking, you know, looking at how beautiful they are and how wonderful they are and how everything is, the world is their oyster and everything should be about them. They don't really care about other people. They don't care in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So this, to me, that's part of, you know, psychopathy or sociopathy. You know, part of it. They really don't care. Depending, not a one size fits all. My head is hurting. But anyway, my blood pressure, let me go back to this part. My blood pressure is high now. And in any time that I think about the nerve, you know, of these people. This one was just one person, but another person. I'm not elaborate on this one day, but was trying to blame me. Oh my God. This is typical. This is being the sociopath. This is, well, they're a victim of being the innocent victim, totally innocent. You know, there are things you can do that you are not at all responsible for what happened in any way, shape, form, or fashion. You just happen to be there. Sometimes you just happen to be there. You know, and you're not playing a role. You're not saying anything. You're not moving any certain way. You're not doing something, whatever. You're not doing anything. And boom, they do it to you because it's all about them to them. You know? And like I said, what was that term I used a while ago? Collateral damage. Don't care. The other one was trying to somehow, and the way they try, you know, like they have somebody who takes up for them in some way. They do it in such a twisted manner. You're like, how could their brain even go there? Seriously. And I mean, how does their brain come up with such a story? Seriously. How does their brain make something up that some people might actually agree, or they might see that, well, that's a good reason, that me, I mean, I've seen it, me, I can't even, I have a genius IQ. I can't even come up with something that bizarre, you know, that bizarre. I mean, I can't even, it's not that I can't come up with it. Well, it is. I can't come up with, I would never be able to think that oddly, that disordered, that evil. That's really what it comes down to. That evil. You know, I remember the copycat guy that copied me for did the copycat thing for 2 years on whatever I did. And he wanted to say that evil is not a this and that. Well, you know what? That's in one field of mine, not in the other one. So anyway, evil, pure evil. I have known lots of people, and it's weird. Yeah, you say, what's with you that you've known lots of people being born into it? Being born into an environment, there were lots of evil people. You'll have to trust me on that. Yeah. And trying to get away. You can't take their scapegoat away. You can't take their punching bag away. You can't do that. You know, even though, and this is how I learned things like, you know, when somebody tries to make a punching bag, trying to make a punching bag out of me, standing up for myself, it just totally blew their minds that their punching bag, their scapegoat, their whatever, scapegoat's used in more than one way, by the way. But whatever it is, dared to go against them. And sometimes they would become even more evil. This is why nobody should tell anybody what they should do in a situation. Like these people who get on and say, oh, because I've experienced, I know better than the professionals. You could wind up getting somebody. You could be one of these people that winds up getting somebody offed. Okay? But they don't think about it. They're just thinking it's about them. They want the money. You see? And I've had so many reasons why I fought what I fought online over all these years. Let's see, it's how many years is it now that I've done videos on this topic? My goodness. 9, maybe? Somewhere around there. On this topic. My original channel, I've had it, next month will be 10 years. So, I started this one not long after it. For a different topic, totally. But, yeah. Okay. But, okay, where was I? I took a little, I was going to test my blood pressure, and I put it on the wrist. I have a wrist monitor. And it just kept blowing up more and more. And I was, oh no, it's going to be real high. So, in a way, I see it's important for me to get this video out. So maybe my brain will relax from that experience. I made myself one that night. It's kind of practically like I whispered it and put it on a channel that is, I don't make public of what all had happened. And trust me, I handled it in a very mature manner. Okay, but that's still in my mind, is that I was, and still of just giving the person a very stern lecture, you know, and which involves a lot of logic. When I get upset about something, I'm very logical, believe it or not, to some degree. Okay, when I speak, it's how it should be. I'm going to put it that way. I later on made that comment. It was how I should be. Nobody's probably ever spoken to this person like that. Well, I spoke to this person as it should be. And really, very stern, very, you know, but only time will tell if it continues, you know. Only time will tell. But anyway, there's so much more to this. It's unbelievable even to me. Even to me, the person who has lived this having so many people in it that were not my choice. Like, I could go to a job and all of a sudden there's somebody acting like, oh my goodness. I used to say that there's always at least just one in a classroom or at a job, which could be both for me, or whatever. But these days, more and more as time went by, it was more than one. Started to become 2, started to become 3, depending on the size of, depending on this or depending on that. You see what I'm saying? There's quite often quite a bit. And these are the people, they stand out. You know, the ones with histrionic behaviors, they want to stand out. That is, like I said, none of this is one size fits all, but they typically want to stand out. They're the look at me, look at me, look at me type. Okay, and they want everybody, they dress, especially when they're younger, they dress at any point. If they're ones to do that behavior, they dress to where everybody's going to be looking at them at some point. And that person might be looking at them saying, oh my gosh, you see how that person is dressed? You see how she's dressed? You see how he's dressed? My goodness, that's shameful. You know, they don't care that those are haters. You know? No, those are people with a sense of dignity. You know, yeah. But these people are often just some of the most despicable people you can imagine. Oh, I probably need to go back home. I'm not getting anywhere because I have to lay down whenever my blood pressure gets up, and if it was doing that, it means my blood pressure is up high, and the monitor. But I know it's because of, you know, what I'm talking about, and I need to talk about it. You know, maybe I doubt it. I doubt I will tell you know, put myself in a position that somebody, if they heard One person, by the way, found me online. Yeah. One person, and possibly another person, because of she's a generation above mine. You know, as far as in the family, not in my family, but anyway. And she was always very protective over me. She probably was the only one. But I hardly ever have anything to do with her, but I think she found me and she tried to warn me about something. So, and you know, speaking in a way that's clear but not clear, you know. And anyway, and you know, a lot of the things that I say, the way that I say them, the way that it seems frustrating. It's easier just to ignore my videos, which, hey, I'm doing them for myself. I've been very honest about that. You know, as a pressure release valve, a venting, ranting, you know, getting it out of my system. So I follow a bit of the philosophy, would you call it that, of, you know, don't let it build up, you know, inside. Because, you know, every time I say that, I think of a hot air balloon that goes, you know, one time blows up. I mean, that would be it. That blowed up one time, but you get what I'm saying. You know, don't let things bottle up inside of you. But that's not for everybody. And that has to be done through, etc., etc. You see, I never give any form of advice, suggestion, tell anybody what to do, how to do it, even though if it sounds like it, I will say it. If it's not, it's in the description. No. And one size doesn't fit all. I say that on purpose. But anyway, there was something else I'm trying to remember that I was going to say. But yeah, you know, it was quite a shock for me to have that situation with that person the second time. And like I said, not all situations can a person just say, okay, I'm out of this one, and you're going no contact with you, no contact with you. It's not always that easy, or it's in some situations it's impossible. You know, some situations it's very close, unless you want to just, you know, a person wants to take their whole life as they live it right now, throw it all up in the air, and that's what could be that person's goal. Is they want that, what you have, you know, what another person has, or they just want to destroy things, and they know that they're doing it. They're knowing that they're winning, you know, because they found that thing that really bothers you, or the thing that your peanut allergy, you know, your allergy. They know how to get between couples or siblings or boss and the good employee. You know, I've worked at jobs before where there were some major slackers, unbelievable amount of slackers, and the slackers would often find reason to basically make themselves the top dog of the slackers, but to the boss, even though the boss is kind of blinded. You know, I could go on with that too, because they know how to work it. They really know how to work it. You know, some people, I am even one to say that usually these people, they make themselves look good. I'm not going to say that they look good without makeup, or they look good without however he wants to dress, or he wants to do this, you know, with his beard and whatever, to make themselves look better than, you know, if they were just, like I said, women no makeup, men no makeup too. You know, men wear makeup. Anyway, you get the gist of what I'm saying, that usually they find some way to make themselves, in some sense, better. And they use that to manipulate people who, you know, like it's not all influence, and this is not one size fits all. It's not everybody doing it at all. But you hear some people talk about influencers. You know, often they're good looking, or, you know, at least you know, I don't know, I don't want to say passable. Everybody has their own look, and they're all beautiful. I'm one of those that says that. You know, you don't have to be a beautiful person on the outside. You can be a beautiful person on the inside. And believe me, there is a big difference. Well, you may have seen it as the same, but some of the people, they listen to the influencers, and often they get to be influencers because of the way they look, not because of their brain, not because of their inside, not because of their heart, their soul, or whatever, however you want to call it. No, it's because of the way they look, or the way they seem to the other person, in whatever way is important to the person or the people watching. You know, and that's how this happens when quite often, maybe not always, when a person is not believed, when that other person is victimizing them. And when they are the victim, the other person plays the victim. And I have noticed consistently that the other, you know, the people who are the ones who are victimizing, you know, the abusive people, know how to play the victim, know how to turn it around. Okay, and like I said, I'm going through this again. And this in my life, I never needed this. That's why, you know, sometimes I have this laughter, sometimes, not always. Sometimes I'm like, you know, like, really? Something like that. Okay, took a second there. But, yeah. Where was I? My head's kind of hurting. And in fact, by the way, if my voice sounds different, it's because, and I sound kind of tired, it's because I am always. The doctor, to make my blood pressure better, they took one of the medications I'm on that can cause, and it said these words. Adam doubted me. This word, tiredness. Okay, that's what it said. Tiredness. I read it more than once. And I saw it more than once. And that's why I sound different and slower. You know, my voice is slower and all that. But I'm often tired. I'm not worried about me falling asleep, kind of tired, but I'm just not like I was. Kind of a little too fast sometimes with my voice. People say, "You sure do talk fast for a Texan." And I used to say that because of people like you who always interrupt me before I finish a sentence. You know, I don't know if I ever said that to you, but I think I did to one person. Yeah, maybe. But I would tell other people that, and they would stop, like, maybe she's hinting to me. Maybe I was. But anyway, I'm dealing with that, and I know I had started talking before about another situation months ago, and it was just unbelievable how some people from my past, and they really are from my past. I didn't ask them to have them in my life, and but really they tried to. The people who think that if they do the least little thing for you, that somehow they own you for your life and they are superior to you. You owe them. Like, I thought of an example the other day. It's because it's a bit like this. Like, if you needed a phone number to something, I was watching Desperate Housewives, like I said, so that one of them is a plumber. We could use that as an example. You know, and you forgot the phone number for the plumber, and you don't remember the name of the plumbing company, that person's plumbing company, whatever. And so you ask your next door neighbor, you have your plumber, he's your plumber too, will you give me the phone number? And they give you the phone number, and then they lord that over you, like, you know, therefore you owe them the rest of your life because they did that one thing when you really needed it. You know, you had water leaking and you know, and that they go through years, decades of saying how they owe you, and they're smarter than you because they remember the phone number or the name of the company. That's stupid. That is stupid. And that's how they do things. How they'll take anything they can to say that they somehow, you know, especially the whole thing of being smarter or more intelligent or you know, something that you know they're not. I'm having a hard time keeping a straight face with that one because, believe me, I get that quite often. And I know it could be because of my accent, and it could be because of the topics that I choose. And some people say, you know, this and that about it and all that. I've been doing this since I was in my 20s on purpose. Some of the topics I talk about, don't have any problem with. I taught at college and university. What do you think I taught? Some of the stuff, some of it. Yeah, it's a pretty rough topic, so you know, you kind of lose your filter in that. Well, some people do. Anyway, but yeah, they're smarter than I am. Well, it's actually, and they don't even know that it's not really smarter. It's that they feel they're more intelligent. They're more logical, more analytical, and all this stuff. When I've been tested on various things, including IQ, genius IQ. I also, in the GRE itself, graduate record exam or something like that. It was a long time ago for me, long decades ago. And they said that my score, they were amazed. Why are you amazed? But they were amazed that my score was higher than all fields, in all fields, even that of physicians. You know, my thing about the physicians, that doesn't mean I know more about medical, because I don't. But my analytical skills are really high. And a lot of people, that when they hear something come from somebody like me, they'll say, well, that's not true. And the reason why they feel that way, I'm not perfect for one. The reason they feel that way is because they've listened to people who don't know what they're talking about. Quite often. I'm not perfect. I say it. I think even in my description, which don't read my descriptions, I need to go in there and rewrite them. I didn't even read them, but don't expect a miracle. Because I cut and copied and pasted a little bitty section that it gave me, and it doesn't flow right. But yeah, I need to get busy. It's 1:09 on July 20th, 2024. Don't you just love it when you're in a turning lane? Can you see the turning lane up there? And there has to be at least one person who's probably texting, as I've seen it, literally, been sitting next to them on the other lane so many times, so many people, and they keep at least several, it could be as many as 3 spaces between them and the person in front of them, because they can, and up to 3 spaces. And then when the light hits, you're stuck at the light. Okay, and because they're texting, they're not paying attention. Now, just in case you're wondering, I purposely zoomed in right here because I don't tailgate people, but I didn't want to show the license plate of the person in front of me. But I think that person has a while ago had at least, I think it was like 2 spaces between them, and when, yeah, they just didn't feel like moving up. And just for the record, that person in the car that was in front of me was the one that was doing it, and did the exact thing of just sitting there trying to ensure, or just maybe they weren't. You never know what is truly motivating. But I almost missed the light. It was yellow. I went. But, you know, people behind me might not have been able to do so. Those are people who are self-centered. Are so self-centered. It's all about them. Yeah, pathetic. Those are pathetic people. But anyway, it kind of goes with what I'm talking about now, huh? And they put other people's lives in there. They take other people's lives in various ways, you know, and mess with them. They're chaos creators. They're so many names I've used. And by the way, most of my videos, like I said, were venting, if not all of them, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But it was kind of more like I was alluding to something. I'm using the right word for it. But anyway, I had one offer, and it was something stupid like $3 for 9 miles or something. I didn't take it. But It's off. Now it's 1:24, and the person is driving backwards on this main road over here. Oh my goodness, what the crap? 3 lanes on each side, turning lane. They wanted to back up with all the traffic. I'm telling you, I live in a wacky world. Totally. Anyway, I think I'm not in this one right now, and see it, or pick it up in another video if I remember to do so later on. Okay, the one order I took, it was $4 going 2 miles, and usually don't take those. I took it, go in there, and they said, the employees, 2 of them, said, somebody just came and got that 10 minutes ago. And I said, are you sure they don't have another one for that person? And they said no, and so I canceled it, and then I called them, and sure enough, it was Uber Eats, and they said that they went to this, she went to this thing, I need to put you on hold in 1 to 2 minutes. It was longer than that, I believe. And, you know, they do that whole thing. And then she came back and said, well, she told me, okay, we see that she marked it that you canceled one because it was this and this. I said, okay, what about compensation? I said, I'm here. I came all the way over here. And she said, well, it shows here that you've received too many of those. I have not, by the way. And I don't think I have. I think I've received over a year now. Let's see, this next week maybe a year. And let's see, I've received some when I went to go to like what is it? Pharmacy, one of the pharmacies, and they didn't have any of the stuff, and they gave me a whole whopping $2. And I had to go call the manager, the manager called somebody else, came out there, tried to look for it, couldn't find it either. There was more than one thing. Everything they didn't have, and spent all that time, and they said $2. I remember that one. I think that's about all I remember. Maybe one other one. But yeah, and I said, in other words, I heard that you stopped giving compensation for that. And she said, well, I said, this is our money, the driver's money, driver's time. She said, I know, I understand. Yeah, anyway, what a way to start my day. It's actually 2:15, and I don't even remember what time I left. And Adam had called me. I just called him before I went in there, and he called me back again. We'd already spoken in that sense. He said that I'd asked him to get my medication. It was delivered to me out of the mailbox so it wouldn't melt particularly. And he said he got the mail, but I had something from IRS. I did my tax. I was just thinking about that yesterday. I hadn't heard back about that. And oh my goodness. He said, you want to open up and read it? And he's older than I. He did. He was the one that did them. I said, nope. So I want a little bit of peace while I tried to do some deliveries. And then I was walking into that restaurant at the time. Yeah, I'm not going to have any peace. God. Might as well have told him, yeah, sure. But at least my blood pressure was going down. Yay. It's a little high on the systolic, a little low on the diastolic. I never know that one. Anyway, let me try again, see if I can get something good.